Now, we may understand the sentence to mean any group of words that has a subject and a verb. It can be simple as just a simple subject and a verb. A subject is the doer of an action. Let's say you're talking about Mary. Mary did something, right? Mary is the subject. And what Mary did becomes the verb. Mary slept, Mary wept, Mary cried. A sentence can be as simple as Mary cried. Why do we say so? Because a sentence is a group of words that has a complete thought, that passes a complete message. Mary wept is a complete message. If I tell you Mary wept, you get the point. You understand what I mean? Here we have Mary wept. Mary is the subject and wept is the verb, right? We can also say wept is the predicate because a predicate is a word or a group of words that tells you more about the subject. Wept is the only thing here that tells you more about Mary. Wept is the predicate. But if you expand this to be Mary wept last night, wept is the verb, but wept last night becomes the predicate because wept last night tells you all you need to know about Mary. Now that being said, this is just fancy fancy words because in reality a child doesn't learn the meaning of subjects or the meaning of verb or the meaning of predicates before they begin to say their first meaningful sentences. Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, someone is looking for you. A child doesn't learn the meaning of these things before they start to use sentences. So, while knowing this helps you know the components of sentences, what really helps you to form good sentences is making a habit of reading. You know, the more you read, the more you store in your knowledge bank. The more you store in your knowledge bank, the more you can identify patterns. Think of a child learning to speak. A child doesn't learn the meaning of subject or verb or predicate before they form their first sentence. But what do? They listen. Yes, before children speak, they first hear their mom speaking, they hear their parents speaking, they hear those around them speaking. And this way they begin to gather, they begin to identify patterns, you see. And eventually children begin to imitate their parents. They begin to repeat what they hear all the time. They begin to repeat patterns they hear all the time. And this is how they begin to form their first sentences. That is how we learn to speak good sentences. Listen, listen, and listen. Yes, listen to good speakers. Read, read, and read. The more you listen and the more you read, the more you can identify patterns, and these patterns would help you to form good sentences when you want to do so. You see? Now, that being said, it's also important for us to know the components of sentences, and that's where this comes in. Every sentence has a subject. Mary. The subject can also be he, the subject. He did what? The verb, he ran. Here is the subject and the verb, he ran. However, we can also say he ran to the store. And in this setting, ran to the store becomes the predicate because ran to the store is the group of words that tells you all about he. Now, in review, the subject is Mary, the subject is he, the subject is the person you are speaking about. The verb is the action they took. He wept, he ran, and a subject and a verb are enough to form a simple sentence, a basic sentence. Now, a verb is also a predicate if is the only thing in the sentence besides the subject. But if there are other things, then all those other things become the predicates.